I'm making a list.
Are you Santa? What are you doing?
A defending democracy list. Good God, what hasn't happened this week
Right?
That's impacting us at every level? First, snakes anatomy, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. What do you make of a sitting member of Congress that obviously asked for a pardon, obviously was asked in the insurrection, saying if she and Steve Bannon had planned it, they would have won, meaning overturned the government of the United States. She said, and we would have been armed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what and we have these texts, 34 members of Congress texting Mark Meadows about the overthrow of the U.S. government. Your thoughts, first of all?
Well, I certainly think that they should all be getting lawyers. I mean, many of them are going to claim that this was all part of their daily duties in Congress. And as we've learned from the Civil War, sedition is not part of your daily duties as a person who is sworn to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States. So, many of them are just, now that the Republicans are going to take control of the House, they don't care. This was, as we've been saying for 2 years, the trial run for the next run. And I think many of their followers are going to express the exact same sentiments. They are going to bring guns to the next uprising, wherever it is. I don't think it'll take place in Congress, unless, of course, we have this scenario where they actually invite seditionists to the Capitol and create a circumstance where they can take control of the building, or at least get them near the building and order the Capitol Hill police to stand down. That's the only scenario that I see. But, her talking to Steve Bannon, this man was indicted before for stealing money, pardoned, and is under indictment again for contempt. These people do not care about our laws.
Yeah. Well, Malcolm, the headline this morning is January 6th committee staffers prepare for all-out Republican assault. So members and staff of the January 6th committee are actively preparing for a multi-pronged Republican revenge campaign when the GOP takes the House next month, and anticipating an all-out effort to discredit the panel's work. Some of the current and former staff have asked their supervisors if they should get lawyers, at least look into potential attorneys. Earlier this year, some committee staffers were advised to purchase professional liability insurance in anticipation of a coming GOP counter-investigation. I mean, that's all the more reason the DOJ has got to act. Don't you think? Because we are just going to embolden, as you say, this dry run for this to happen again. And this is going to be them trying to rewrite history on January 6th, isn't it?
And they will rewrite history. Hold on. Give me a second. I have to get my double espresso here because I'm not ranty enough right now for what I need to say at this point. And here is what the Democratic members in Congress are going to say when they start taking on personal assaults. They start claiming that investigating January 6th was treason. When they start saying that arresting people who broke the law, who came in to hunt down murder, defecate on the walls of the Capitol, was just free speech and protest. Democrats are going to say, well, that's just your opinion, but we did an investigation. When are we going to start becoming shouty and start saying, you attempted to overthrow the government of the United States, and you have the gall, the very nerve to come into this house, the house which was built on 248 years of freedom and democracy, in which the only people to ever do this were the British when they burned it down. You have the nerve to even try that. The problem is Democrats, for some strange reason, don't know how to communicate like this, directly and forcefully. They all want to have a women's knitting circle, and to have this discussion civilly. Civil discussion is over. We, all of us, have to stand together against this. And what we really need, Stephanie? What we really need? A GD legal defense fund. For some strange reason, Republicans have them with hundreds of millions of dollars in them. Yeah. Democrats won't put up $5 for it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. We'll let our people hang out there.
Well,
It's time for us to organize to defend democracy as it stands.
Because I was saying yesterday, Malcolm, all of the facts are on our side. I mean, I was asking quite sincerely, what are these investigations, quote unquote, going to be? Are they going to get people that will just lie? Because none of the facts are on their side for any of this. But they don't care, obviously.
Yeah, but there you go. Wanting to have a discussion with facts and details and things we've actually found out. Here, look at our wonderful report. These people are arsonists here to burn government to the ground. Don't throw that book in their face unless you're going to hit them over the head with it.
Yeah.
They don't care. All right? I literally just fought the same mindset in Ukraine. They're orcs. They don't care. All they want to do is destroy and occasionally steal a washer. These people are here to steal the United States government.
Yeah.
And we have to stop having civil debates with them. Our representatives need to feel the same pressure that they feel from the Republican base, from the Donald Trump base. That pressure is stand up and fight. Stand up and defend this.
Yeah. I mean, this just strikes me as another story trying to redo facts. Not that you have any interest or knowledge about Russia, but here's my point. Trump is suing the Pulitzer Prize Board, alleging the committee defamed him by refusing to retract prizes awarded to the Washington Post and the New York Times for reporting about the Russiagate scandal. In 2018, the newspaper shared an award for their deeply sourced, relentlessly reported coverage in the public interest that dramatically furthered the nation's understanding of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election and its connections to the Trump campaign. In a civil complaint filed in Florida, Trump alleged that the Pulitzer Board's refusal to retract the shared award between the newspapers equates to defamation. I mean, Malcolm, you've literally wrote the book on all this before they wrote the book on it. It is Trump trying to somehow rewrite history, right? And trying to say that their reporting was not correct, which it was completely correct about Russia.
Plot to destroy democracy. My 2018 book was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. It didn't get it, all right? But it was just as deeply sourced as the Washington Post and all of the rest, if not more, because mine was analysis. Donald Trump is terrified of Russia. And someone, now that he has put that mantra in the air, Russia, Russia, Russia hoax, he believes it.
Right.
Details, facts be danged, right? This is one of those areas where he is gaslighting all of history to rewrite this. His own people, if you go on the Patriots.win, which used to be called the Donald.win, you will see a world of crazy that you could not possibly imagine how detached from reality those people who adore him are, and that reality is put into their heads by him. Yeah. So, look, if Donald Trump is so innocent, why did he steal several hundred top secret documents? Yeah. Who was he giving those to? Why were they all many of them related to the Russia investigation? Yeah. He is mortified at being caught out about Russia. Yeah. We'll get around to it eventually.
Let's talk about Brittney Griner, speaking of Russia. I mean, speaking of rewriting history, Trump going, I would have gotten Paul Whelan out. Well, first of all, why didn't you? And Putin was scared of me. I mean, the stuff that is just so laughable to most of us, right? About him, saber rattling about I would have done this or this with Russia, right?
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely ludicrous. As you know, we talked about this, I think, last week. I ran a secret school on how to behave if you're captured by the Russians or the Chinese in what we call a hostile government detention. All right? Paul Whelan was a disgraced ex-Marine, kicked out of the Marine Corps, was found on V-contact, attempting to pick up young Russian men. We don't know what purposes that is, and I don't care. Right? He's an American citizen held in captivity, and he's held in an illegal captivity. The Russians detained him, claiming he was a spy. He's not a spy, okay? We wouldn't use somebody like that. But the Russians are using this as leverage. Brittney Griner was pure leverage. At that time, at the Russian war, a tall, lesbian, American, playing basketball. She played basketball in Russia, I believe, for 4 years for Russia in a Russian league, and no one had a problem until they invaded Ukraine and needed to hold her up against the United States and to hold her up to the Russian citizenry as the evil, crazy, liberal American who comes over here to take our money. It's all about imagery and leverage. I don't care who the American citizen is that's captured. They need to be released immediately, and Russia needs to knock off these hijinks. But this is why I can never travel to Russia or China. I will be considered a hostile government detainee. Now, of course, the Russians killed me twice in the last month, by the way, according to Russian media.
Oh, really?
I'm a combatant in their eyes.
You're quite eloquent for being, dead.
Yeah, well, I check with my undertaker every week just to make sure.
Good.
I drink espresso so my heart doesn't stop.
You got to talk to us about Biden administration finalizing plans to send the Patriot missile defense system to Ukraine. Could be announced as soon as this week. So that's kind of a big deal, yes?
Very big deal. And if you guys want more details on this, and I know Travis was going to bring this up, I have a new Substack now. I'm writing because Twitter is going to melt down and burst into a cloud of burning feathers eventually. I'm most of my commentary, other than what I do here on Wednesday, to Substack. And you can get that at malcolmnance.substack.com. And I'm going to be writing a commentary about the Patriots because the Patriots are critical to the defense of Ukraine. Russia is looking at secretly buying hundreds of ballistic missiles, intermediate range ballistic missiles, and they cannot be stopped by anything in Ukraine's inventory. They will just rain down on any building with relatively good precision and power plants, and they will just destroy the infrastructure of Ukraine. By telling the Russians we're giving them Patriot, we're essentially saying we're going to give Ukraine a capability to stop this before you buy the first missile.
An even bigger effing deal, as Joe Biden would say. Yeah.